Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to At America. Thank you, everyone. At America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center. For almost 15 years, it has been our mission to provide a space for Indonesians to learn more about the United States. My name is Aldi Rashid. I will be your e-guide for today's event, Meet the U.S. Embassy. I would like to also welcome our audience from Presiden University. Boleh tepuk tangan dulu, teman-teman? Ladies and gentlemen, today you will hear directly from a distinguished U.S. diplomat, gain deeper insight into the United States' enduring relationship with Indonesia and our shared vision for a safer, stronger, and more prosperous future. And now, I would like to introduce our moderator for today. She's a TV presenter. Please give a warm welcome to Sara Wayne.
Thank you, Aldi. Everyone give her applause for our e-guide, Aldi. Good afternoon, everyone. What a fresh way to, of course, end our lunch break this afternoon. Once again, we'd like to welcome you today for our session, Meet the U.S. Embassy. But before all of that, can I have a big round of applause as we begin this session? Because, of course, meet the U.S. Embassy. When we hear the word embassy, we think about diplomacy, politics, history. But of course, since this is At America, right? And At America always have a fun session, we'll be doing it in a fun way. Don't you agree, Aldi? Yes? Yes, and of course, here at America, we'll be introducing someone who plays a very pivotal role, especially in fostering the relations between Indonesia and the United States. So without further ado, allow me to introduce to you someone who, of course, does not need any introduction. But nevertheless, please give a round of applause as we welcome onto the stage the Chargé d'Affaires, Ambassador Peter M. Haymond. Please give a round of applause. Good afternoon, Ambassador. Please take a seat, make yourself comfortable. And here we have a microphone for you ready.
Most excellent.
Yes. So you may probably test the microphone. The microphone's working perfectly. And since we are here at America, Ambassador, we see all the young faces from President University and, of course, our audience who are ready to meet you. But since you are here, is this your first time here at America?
Third time here at America.
There you go. We got the answer. The third time at America. And how do you see At America? Because as mentioned by Aldi, it's a place to introduce or probably foster relations with America itself, with the youth.
U.S. embassies have American centers in universities and other locations all around the world, mostly to engage with young people, the rising generation, explain a little bit about what America's like, what America's interested in, what America is doing with their countries. At America is one of those centers, but it's unique. It's the only one of its kind I know of in the world right now, set in a major shopping mall with all of the facilities here, and that's because of the importance of the relationship with Indonesia and because Indonesia has the coolest young people around.
There you go, the coolest young people around, and probably the coolest malls because we are in a mall, right? Well, anyways, as you mentioned before, it's a way to engage with the public. So since we are here and meet the U.S. Embassy, I would like to pass on the time to engage or probably say hi, greet the audiences, because we have not only those offline or here in person, Ambassador, but also ones who are joining us online through our social media as well.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, I'll try again. This is my little bit of Bahasa Indonesia. So, selamat siang, apa kabar?
Selamat siang.
Okay, selamat datang dari Universitas President, right? And dari online program, all right? Saya senang sekali bertemu kalian di hari ini. Okay. That's as far as I'll go right now. But I came to Indonesia for the first time to work 3 months ago. I had visited with my family before because Indonesia is a beautiful and amazingly interesting place for tourists, but this was my first time to work in the embassy. And I've already seen in this time, in this short period, the importance of the relationship and the fun part of the relationship. Sara, you mentioned that when you think of an embassy, you think of diplomacy, and you think of politics, and you think of history, but at the bottom of all of those is people. It's people on the two sides. And the embassy tries to serve as a bridge between governments and between people, connecting the people of our two countries. That's really the fun part of diplomacy. And I enjoy this type of program because it's an opportunity for me to talk about something I care a lot about, the United States, where I'm from, and the work we do to build relations with other countries, here Indonesia. I've spoken with university audiences in a number of other countries, always had fun, and I'm glad to have a chance to do it here today. I will be looking for your comments and your questions as we go through too, because when I interact with the people of Indonesia, whether it's officials or it's business people or it's academics or it's students, I learn. And my chances to learn help me to be more effective in developing the relationship between the two countries. Okay? The U.S., United States, and Indonesia have a history going back to the independence period of Indonesia. The United States is one of the first countries, major countries around the world to recognize the new Indonesian Republic. And we've continued on in that relationship to where today we have a comprehensive strategic partnership, partnering together in many, many different areas, broken up maybe into three big categories. One is the economic side, where our businesses invest and trade back and forth. Another is the security side, where we work together to keep our countries and our people safe. And this can be security from not being pushed around by other countries, or it can be security from not being pushed around by earthquakes and volcanoes, that is, natural disasters, or pandemics, or things like that, to help each other, to support each other during insecure times. And the third area is people-to-people interaction, exchange programs, or programs to help Indonesian students learn about U.S. universities and make good choices about where they would like to pursue their education, or to bring American performers here to share music or dance or other things with Indonesian audiences, and to build a little more understanding between our two parts, between our two countries. And just emphasize again that the American Center here is a special place because we can get a large group together. We can easily join our friends online. We have facilities to help explore and talk about areas of collaboration, to experience American culture, some of the innovations that come out of America, and ask about those things. And in asking, to express ideas, to new ideas, to sort of fire up our imagination and think about what the future is possible. I enjoy talking to students because most of their future is ahead of them. Most of my future is now looking back. I have lots of photo albums from my old future. Your future is still ahead. And my goal is to have American relations with Indonesia and the Indonesian people in the future as you become leaders in Indonesian society even stronger than it is now. And part of that is sharing ideas and views to build that understanding between us. So thank you so much for joining us today. I look forward to Sara guiding us through the conversation, but look forward to hearing from you and sharing some of the things that I've seen during my time as a United States diplomat. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. And now we are going to get to the fun part, Ambassador. As you mentioned,
That was not the fun part. Fun
no,
part coming.
much more fun because as you mentioned that you want to have a great discussion. Everyone here is ready, I believe. With, of course, we invite you to join in with your questions or probably you want to share your thoughts and to get to know more about Indonesia and U.S. relations. And how, for those of you joining us offline, of course, you can raise your hand later during the question and answer session, and then our team will pass on a microphone for you to propose a question directly to the ambassador. And for those of you joining us online, you can, of course, put in the comment box your name and where you are from, because we want to know where you are joining us from, whether you're from Jakarta or probably from another city or probably another island here in Indonesia, because we are the largest archipelago, Ambassador. We want to know more. And of course, just type in your questions so we can propose them directly to the ambassador. But now I will pass it on to Aldi, because who doesn't love a little game?
I want a game.
There you go. Who wants a game? Who wants to play a game here? Please give it. Can I have a big round of applause if anyone wants to play a game? There you go. The audience have spoken. Aldi, I pass it on to you. How are we going to play this quiz or game?
Thank you, Sara. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll now proceed with the Menti session. And on the screen, you will see several multiple choice questions related to the United States and Indonesia. And you will be able to send in the answers in real time. Please use your device to access menti.com and enter the following code, 84195377. You may also scan the QR code that is shown on screen.
Yes, and the questions will be regarding the 4 major topics of today.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
It will be about U.S.-Indonesia bilateral relations, security cooperation, trade and investment, and of course, our favorite, people-to-people ties. So be prepared to answer the question correctly and, of course, quickly as well. Right, Aldi?
Yes, we do have over 70 participants, Sara,
Okay.
right now.
There you go. Oh, we can see it right here on the corner.
Yep, updated in real time.
Okay, before they participate, Ambassador, do you have any tips or tricks for all these 4 major topics?
4 major topics.
So they can wing it or probably win. Will there be a winner in this, Aldi? Can we see who has answered the most questions correctly?
I think we can.
Oh, yes, we can. There you
Okay.
go. Pressure.
A hint. A good relationship is about keeping balance. It's about not being too extreme in one direction or too extreme in another direction. Keeping balance in between.
There you go. Okay. And now, as we wait for more participants, I want to know a little bit, Ambassador. You mentioned that you've
Please.
been here, you've visited Indonesia before, but as a tourist.
A tourist.
Yes. Which province or which city did you
We
visit?
first came, my wife and I and our daughter first came to Indonesia in 1995. How many of our audience was alive in 1995?
Oh,
Okay,
there you go.
not so
That's
many.
the first.
We came then to Jakarta, Solo, Lombok, Bali, and we had a fabulous experience.
1995. That means it was approximately 30 years ago.
Almost exactly 30 years ago. I think it was 30 years ago next month.
There you go. And if you have, did you manage to visit any of those cities during your time here within the past 3 months?
I've only been to Bali of those, but I plan to go to Jakarta next month and hopefully Solo in November. My wife is a huge fan of Indonesian textiles, batik, and other textiles for many decades, even before she met me. And she wants to take me on what she calls a batik trek.
Batik track.
Batik trek. And the plan is to drive from Jakarta to Cirebon, Penggolokan, Semarang,
Yes.
and Solo, and look at the different styles of batik in each place, and
Try and
see
make
if
your
my
own batik.
wife can fill the closets that are not yet full, and most of them are full, of batik.
Completing the collection.
Completing the collection.
Yes. But have you managed or tried to make your own batik?
My own batik. The embassy has a batik.
Yes.
And my wife has made a batik this size that she made. She went to the Textile Museum here in Jakarta, which has a beautiful, beautiful display of traditional batiks, but also has a workshop outside where you can make a small cloth when the wash and dyeing. My wife has that displayed at home.
Okay. But what about you, Ambassador?
My wife is the artist in my family. So what I'm good at as a husband is applauding and say, "Wonderful job, dear. That's absolutely beautiful."
And that's the best part of. Okay, great. Ali, I think we are ready.
Yes, we're good to go with the
Okay.
first question.
There you go. I pass it on to you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here's our first question.
Yes, these are the faces of all the participants.
The first question is, how long ago were diplomatic relations between the United States and Indonesia established?
There you go. How long ago were diplomatic relations between the United States and Indonesia was established? But you visited Bali 30 years ago, and you visited Bali just recently.
I did.
Yes. The difference between back then and now.
Bali is even better known and even more highly visited than it was before. Many, many people, many, many cars. I feel for the very good people in Bali and the fascinating culture there, because there's so many people from around the world who want to experience it right now.
And hopefully so many more people from the US and probably from Indonesia to get to know more of our cultures.
Definitely.
Okay, so Ali, the answer is?
And the correct answer to that is C. The United States and Indonesia have a long history of partnering going back to the very beginning of Indonesia's founding. Diplomatic relations were established on December 28, 1949, when Ambassador H. Merle Cochrane presented credentials to President Sukarno. In fact, Indonesia and the United States are celebrating its 76th anniversary in 2025.
And most of the audience I saw on the graphic,
Getting the correct answer.
they
yes,
got the
that's it.
correct answer. Give a round of applause for everyone here.
Okay, good.
And Ambassador, seeing the 76 years of bilateral partnership between Indonesia and, of course, the U.S., how do you describe the relationship between our two nations?
Well, it's been very strong relations since the beginning. The United States also began its existence with an independence struggle, and so has had sympathy and interest in countries who are establishing themselves. And since then, we've found very many common interests in an economically prosperous Indo-Pacific, in a secure and free Indo-Pacific. And also for Americans, Indonesia is a long way away. But when Americans come here, they go back with stories about the rich culture, the beautiful, beautiful crafts and products, and the fascinating foods. And so the stories in America of Indonesia are just these wonderful ideas that people want to pursue and say, I must get there someday. And so we look forward to having more people have their someday in Indonesia.
The adventure of a lifetime. Some have a bucket list. All right. And now we're going to move on to our second question of the day, I believe, Ali.
Yes. And here's our second question. What is the name of the major military exercise conducted annually between the U.S. and Indonesia? Is it A, Chris Marex, B, Super Garuda Shield, C, Indo Defense Drill, or D, the ASEAN Shield?
Yes, you have 3 more seconds to answer this. There you go.
And the correct answer is B,
Okay.
Super Garuda Shield.
Another round of applause for everyone here.
I think we have a bunch of university students here who read the news.
There
Right.
you go. Well, now, Super Garuda Shield, I believe, to
Yes.
enrich our understanding
Yes,
and
and
knowledge because
Yes, and originally launched in 2007 as Garuda Shield, it has evolved into a large-scale multinational exercise.
yes, and Ambassador, recently we were informed that you, of course, attended the training of Super Garuda Shield. How was that like from your point of view, and what were the impressions that you?
Well, I had the opportunity to attend some of the exercise. This was in Batu Raja, in Sumatera.
Almost there. Yes.
Selatan.
There you
Selatan.
go.
There we go.
Let's give her applause. Ambassador got that correctly.
We actually arranged that beforehand. So Sumatera Selatan, and as you can see here, it was Garuda Shield meant that it was the United States and Indonesia practicing together, exercising together, so that they could cooperate more effectively during a crisis. After the COVID pandemic and the interest in greater regional cooperation, it became Super Garuda Shield, and compliments to Indonesia as the host. And now this year had, I think, 13 or 14 countries participating, mostly from around the region, a few from even outside of the Indo-Pacific, because there's so much interest in building common abilities, common capacity, what we call interoperability, means in a crisis being able to work together. And this has become one of the biggest, as it says, multinational security exercises in Asia each year. And Indonesia has been a fabulous host.
And how do you see these Indo-U.S. defense cooperation contributing to security efforts on a broader scale, probably globally, Ambassador?
Sure. The United States looks to have strong, positive security relations with all of its partners because we face so many similar challenges. Those challenges can be, as we say, natural disasters. Those challenges can be transnational crime of different types. Those challenges can be the possibility of war. We're looking to keep this a peaceful world, but as you know, around the world, conflicts happen. And the more countries can stand together in defending and working to secure their common interests, we believe the more secure they are. And that's how we've had a very strong security relationship with Indonesia going back decades now.
There you go. And now we're going to move on to our third question and number 3. And yes, we have another topic ready.
Yes.
From defense. What topic will be
It's going to
presented?
be trade and investment. So our third question is, how much was two-way trade between the United States and Indonesia in 2024? Is it $38 billion, $750 million, $4.9 billion, or $142 billion?
There you go. We heard that little sound effect at the beginning of the question. Oh, there you go. We got the answers?
Yes, and the correct answer to that is $38 billion.
Don't worry. You can,
38 billion.
yes, you can give yourself a round of applause. Because we see, even though most of you did not get the answer correctly, but some of them had like little, applauses for themselves because they answered correctly. So congratulations. And yes, Ali,
Yes,
please
and
tell us more.
Indonesia's two-way trade with the United States totaled $38.3 billion in 2024. In 2022, the United States was the 6th largest country investor in Indonesia, and U.S. foreign direct investment in Indonesia was $11.9 billion.
There you go. And Ambassador, seeing trade, investment, of course, economy, how do you see the potential sectors, especially for investment between the U.S. and, of course, here in Indonesia?
I see lots of potential opportunity. What I've found is, in coming here, I believe the trade and the investment between the United States and Indonesia so far is actually somewhat lower than you might expect for a rapidly developing economy, the largest economy in ASEAN, United States, the largest, depending on how you measure it in the world. I believe it should be larger. There should be a bigger relationship.
Why do you think that we have not yet are at the level of what you said that we are
Sure.
expected to be at right now? What are the challenges?
For the United States, when American companies look at investment and trade opportunities around the world, they compare different markets. And one thing they look at is how big is it? Another they look at is how developed is it? What types of technology, what types of products are desired? Another they look at is how easy is it to make deals? How easy is it to operate? And if the market is small, or if the market is not developed, or if the market is more difficult than some of its neighbors to operate in, there will be less attention than there might be. So we're working with the Indonesian government, the new government under President Prabowo, who has very ambitious economic growth targets on how U.S. investment and trade can help the president and the Indonesian government meet those targets. And part of that is helping make the Indonesian economy and the Indonesian market even more attractive to U.S. companies. And that will deal with probably changing some of the aspects of business environment here.
And what sectors do you think is the most potential?
Major, it depends on two huge economies back and forth. There's lots of potential. There's the agriculture side in both directions, but a lot of exports from the U.S. I think can help support the initial food and nutrition security issues. There's energy trade back and forth. And then there's the new technologies, the digitalization of economy and of many industries. And there's many technologies the U.S. is now using that I think Indonesia can make use of in the future. Indonesia has great resources that is needed by the United States and other countries in the world, and the United States can help develop those as well. The United States model, when a company invests, is American companies around the world, when they invest in another company, in another country, their focus is on training local workforce. The great majority in any country working in an American company is going to be local workforce. The majority of the executives of any American company working in a foreign country are going to be from that country, because they're looking for the most efficient, productive operations possible, and they're looking for good relations with the local economy. So what we tell the Indonesian government, because we believe it's true, as more American companies come in, there will be more training and more technology brought in, and these will be companies that are keeping the highest standards of treatment for their workers and the highest standard of treatment for the environment. And that's not just because American companies have nice people. I think they do have nice people, but it's not just because of that. It's because the big American companies have a reputation to maintain all around the world. And if stories come out that they are mistreating workers or they are damaging the environment, that hurts their reputation in the United States and everywhere else. So when they invest in a country like Indonesia, they will be model companies, and they can be an important part helping the Indonesian government and the Indonesian economy to move forward to achieve these ambitious but achievable economic goals.
And of course, putting in mind sustainability as well at the same time.
I'd say it's sustainability in two senses. Yes. One is avoiding damage to the environment, yes, right? So you're not using up your resources in an unsustainable way. The other part of sustainability is having the local people be able to carry on the work. So it's not dependent on only it will work if a bunch of Americans are there. Yes. The U.S. American companies that are set up around the world, they want a very effective company operations in Australia using Australians, and in Japan with Japanese, and in Indonesia with Indonesians. And that's the other aspect of sustainability that they pay a lot of attention to.
There you go. And of course, empowerment with that as well. All right, Aldi, I think we can move on to our last but not least especially our favorite topic.
is people-to-people ties.
Yes.
Yes. And the fourth question is, how many Indonesians are currently studying in the United States? The 1,400, 17,500, 130,000, or 8,000?
We can see everyone is a bit discussing, asking around, and
Yes, and the correct answer is D, at 8,000.
Now, I prefer the audience answer. That's the one I want. That's the one I want to see. It should be 17,500. But right now, it's only around 8,000.
there you go. Something that we have to work on together to achieve this number. But Aldi, tell us more about this 8,000.
Yes. And just over 8,000 Indonesians are studying in U.S. colleges and universities today. Of course, we would love for that number to be even higher, so we invite all of you to apply because there is a program for everyone. We have our Education USA advisors right here in America and our 8 centers around the country to help you find the best program for you. Please talk with us after the show if you're interested in more information.
Okay, thank you, Ali. And as, of course, mentioned by the ambassador, and of course, mentioned by Ali as well, we wish to have the number higher than 8,000. Probably the number that was presented before was 17,500.
That's what we want.
That's what we want, ambassador. But tell us more. To achieve this, what programs are being rolled out or wish to be rolled out by the U.S. mission to achieve a higher target of students studying in the U.S. from Indonesia?
Sure. We have a program every year that Ali just mentioned called Education USA. We have advisors here who can provide materials about programs, university programs throughout the United States. And there's thousands of programs, many, many good universities. We have each year representatives of many universities come to Indonesia and to other countries to meet with students, to meet with schools here, to also to provide information. So the main thing we're looking to do is help students and their families make informed decisions, and also the Indonesian government. It's extremely impressive the investment the Indonesian government has put into higher education and giving more and more students an opportunity to study abroad. And we want to encourage those students who receive Indonesian government scholarships also to come. But in the meantime, we're giving out as much information we can about U.S. programs, and each university has its own access programs or assistance for international students. And so it's important to look at the information for individual universities. It's not the same for each one. And in the United States, the U.S. government really is a facilitator, but it's the individual universities who set up their programs and often do a lot of their outreach overseas. And so we want to encourage as many U.S. universities as possible to come here and meet with students in schools. At the same time, we are facilitating, helping U.S. universities talk with Indonesian universities about possible partnerships in future, where there may be opportunities for joint degrees or coordinated programs. So a lot of possibilities in future. Please keep in touch with look at the embassy website. We'll have updated programs or meetings or visiting delegations. Also links to information about U.S. universities and colleges.
All right, Ambassador. And what are the benefits actually for students from abroad, especially from probably here in Indonesia, because we have university students pursuing, of course, their bachelor's, but probably for their master's. There are scholarships available, especially from the Indonesian government as well, but they have to be able to choose personally where they want to study, usually, yes. What are the benefits and probably the unique education system that the U.S. offers that are not probably available in other countries?
Well, one, the U.S. has, I think, generally, I would say, the most admired, the largest, most comprehensive, most admired higher education system in the world. It's a product both of American culture and history and having a large economy. So there's excellence. That's one thing. Two, it's the experience, which you, going abroad, studying abroad, has an experience all its own. It builds out your comfort level with nations, with persons, with languages outside of your own. And that affects your perspective on your whole future. That can be true in any country, but in the United States, I'm biased, you have an opportunity to see all parts of a country that is currently the largest and most advanced in the world. Any college you go to gives you an opportunity to travel around the country and gain experiences elsewhere. And in the U.S. system, unlike in some systems around the world, or many systems around the world, the emphasis is not so much just on taking in information and answering a question. It's taking in information to inspire you to ask more questions, to probe more. It's beyond learning, it's being trained to think and to reach out and to ask and to question and to think of ways to build something new. The emphasis there is, here are some ideas, but we want you to question the ideas. We want you to ask about the ideas. We want you to, if possible, add on to the ideas. And when you're doing a master's degree or a doctorate degree in the United States, the goal is for you to be adding to the sum total of knowledge in the university systems and in the country by your research, your research and what you've done there. And starting at the bachelor's degree, it's a challenging program to push you to think beyond, not just to learn and answer, but to learn and ask, and then build on those questions and what you learn from them.
All right, there you go. So after hearing Ambassador's explanation, who in the audience would like to pursue a higher degree in the U.S.? Show of hands. Anyone who wants to study in the U.S.? There you go, ambassadors. We have some contributors.
More, come on, you need more.
But they are ready to contribute to the growing number, hopefully, that we just have seen from the last answer. But, of course, once again, you can always visit our Education USA advisors here at America, right, Aldi?
Yes, absolutely correct.
Yes, and besides education, of course, fostering people-to-people relations in part of the diplomatic mission, Ambassador, is not just through education, but other programs as well. For the other public who are not pursuing education or who probably have graduated already, what kind of programs are being
Sure.
rolled out so we can understand more?
We also have, one, we have cultural programs where we bring artists here to America. We had a concert here last week. A great fine artist from Nashville, Tennessee, a great singer we had. And they will appear elsewhere in Indonesia. We also have programs for what we call young leaders. There's some of you, has any of you heard of the Y Sealy program? Anybody part of the Y Sealy program? Okay, that's the Young Southeast Asia Leaders Initiative, which is carried out through all of the countries of ASEAN. And it's a program that can involve some travel and some activities in the United States for some weeks, but it's also programs within the home country. It's programs within the region. So Y Sealy is aimed at bringing together persons in their 20s, maybe early 30s. They're just finishing up their graduate work or just beginning their career, getting together with their peers, with their persons their age, their interests in the other countries of ASEAN, and often with Americans, to compare their experiences and start thinking about being leaders for the future. Start thinking about each of their societies, what opportunities there are, what challenges there are, and how they can think about looking for solutions, looking for ways to help their country improve. And I believe this particular time in the world is a time when young people are ready to take on more active leadership roles than ever before for at least one reason, and that reason is technology. As technology, communications in particular, continues to advance and to evolve so quickly, each new generation becomes the expert on technology, usually in their 20s and 30s. And by the time they get to their 40s, they're having their 15-year-old children explain the new technology to them. And by the time they get to their 60s and 70s, they're having their grandchildren explain the technology to them. So beyond your ideas and what you're learning on political science and international affairs and economics, all of which remain very important, you have new tools available to you. The young generation have new tools available to you that you're better at using than the older, more experienced people. More experience, that's important. I think my experience has some value, but I'm not as good at communications technology as the people coming out of school now. So you have some advantages that are going to be valued when you're looking for jobs, but also for when you're putting forth ideas for society. So anyway, it's a long story about why SEALI as a program we've been carrying on for many years in Southeast Asia to look at people who are beyond that first education stage and are ready to take the move forward into their careers. Further on, we also have programs aimed at different levels of usually mid-career persons in different sectors. It could be journalists, it could be government, it could be law enforcement, it could be artists. And we'll get groups together, sometimes from one country for 10 or 15 or 20 people, or it could be from several countries, 1 or 2 persons from each country, and they will go together on a program for about a month in the United States, meeting with Americans working in that same area to compare experiences. So they can bring their experiences and inform Americans about what other countries are thinking, and so they can see what Americans have done that have worked or have not worked and build that experience that way. And so that's been carried on for many years here as well as in other countries. So we try to maintain opportunities at different levels, from students to career starting to mid-career, to help gain different experiences and to help build understanding. Because from our perspective, once an Indonesian person studies for their bachelor's or goes on a YSEALI program for 6 weeks or studies English for 6 months or goes on a journalism trip for a month, they understand the United States better and they help explain the United States to their friends and their colleagues and their family. So there's a spreading positive effect of understanding, and that's the idea behind these programs.
Yes, and they personally experienced it firsthand in the U.S. All right, Ambassador, as we mentioned before, Aldi promised us to announce the winner of the quiz. Oh, there's no winners. There is no winners, apparently. So yes, everyone is a winner in their own ways. Give her applause for each and every one of you. Because of course, everyone, although there was a question at the end that we did not answer, well, the audience did not manage to answer correctly.
Yes.
Significant minority answered correctly.
Yes, absolutely. But hopefully we can work on that, Ambassador, with this session especially. But we want to know more about your time here in Indonesia. You arrived for this post in June.
Middle of June.
Middle of
yes.
June, on June 15, approximately exactly in the middle of June 2025. When you were first posted or when you were first assigned to Indonesia, what first came to your mind?
Oh, Indonesia. Well, the first came to my mind was Jakarta, Solo, Lombok, and Bali. That's what first came to my mind.
Those
That
flashbacks of
first
memory
came to
3
my
years
mind.
ago.
But next was the huge size and complexity and unique features of Indonesia that differs from island to island and different regions within islands. The importance of Indonesian within ASEAN, and ASEAN as a grouping is very important to the United States and our goals in the Indo-Pacific. Indonesia is the largest state and largest economy. And I have a lot of experience working on the mainland. I've spent many years in Thailand and Laos and in China. So it was, for me, an opportunity to expand that experience out into the maritime, the island parts of ASEAN that are so important as well. So for me, it was a chance to join quite a large United States embassy with a key relationship in a fascinating part of the world where I've spent most of my career, but had not had a chance to work here. And so, excitement.
Excitement. And after 3 months, although it's too early to say, but within the past 3 months, how has it been so far?
A little bit more tired than the first day I arrived.
A little.
A little bit more tired, but still excited. Because I've learned more about the relationship. I've been to more places. I've met more people. I've learned more about the things that our countries are doing together. And I have more hopes for the future for that relationship as well. And I get to do fun things like this. My last 2 years, I was stuck in Honolulu, in Hawaii. It was very difficult. Sitting in Hawaii can be challenging too. But I didn't have a chance to meet with audiences and talk about U.S. Partnerships in the Indo-Pacific, which is, as I said, where I've spent most of my working life.
Okay, and how do you see the challenges that we are about to face together as both nations? What are the greatest challenges, do you think, going ahead?
Many. But that's always true. I often say the world would be simpler if there were not people in it. When you have people, you have interesting times, but you also have challenges. Many of the challenges come from people. There's the challenges of building societies in which the benefits and the hopes and goals for the future are more broadly shared, where the whole society feels optimism and hope for the future. We have that challenge in the United States. We've seen that challenge in every country I've worked in. We also have that challenge in Indonesia. And we look for ways to work together to try to help that development work more broadly. We have the challenges of security. The world is an uncertain place. 5 years ago, suddenly, unexpectedly, the world stopped, paused for about 2 years due to a pandemic. That did spark a lot of cooperation, which was positive, and hopefully preparation for the future, because that was not the last pandemic we will face as brothers and sisters around the world. There will be more. So security, natural challenges to security, and then man-made challenges to security. Every tool that mankind has ever developed, from the first rock that was picked up and thrown to kill an animal so you could eat it, or sharpen it and cut something so you could build it, or using that same rock to hit somebody else on the head so you could take what they have, up until the present, with AI, with 5G, okay? Every tool, from the beginning to the end, can help people have better, more interesting, more productive, more comfortable lives, or can be used to harm people, to steal from people, to cheat people. Every one of those tools. And the challenge now, for instance, is that as we have these fascinating tools, I grew up at a time when I dreamed of when I could see a movie that was not on a huge screen anytime I wanted. A movie from 20 years ago. Would it ever be possible for me to see it on my own? I dreamed about that. When I was in high school and in college, my bachelor's degree, every paper that I wrote on a manual typewriter, no electricity connected to it. Okay? Since that time, we've had the internet come in. Amazing things have changed. We've had smartphones come in. We have students in countries that were not connected to the rest of the world in all of their history. Now they're connected. It's amazing, these opportunities. But these are also tools that can be used for criminal activities in ways that hurt people. And when you have new tools, you have to have new rules, new regulations, new laws, new discussions about how to cooperate, because sometimes the tools get ahead of the rules and it's hard to protect people. So we have to work together as partners to agree on rules for how people can make the best use of tools to help and not to hurt. Yes. And that only can be done by countries talking together, because these tools affect people across borders.
Absolutely, and that's why we have to put in collaboration for the greater good. Great, Ambassador, and it appears that we have some questions already online. I believe everyone here, there were some people who were ready to propose a question directly to you, Ambassador, from our audience who are here in person. So probably we can take some questions for the committee. They have their microphones ready, so raise of hands. Okay, we can have our students here first.
I think the question askers are wanting to be up front. Good.
Please.
Okay,
introduce yourself.
Let me introduce myself. Okay, sir. My name is Aldi Fadilah. I'm currently in President University student, International Relations batch 2025. I come from Cirebon that you mentioned earlier. Yes, sir, such an honor. So, as far as I know, Indonesia and America have really different work culture. So my question is, how do Indonesia develop and improve our work culture to make Indonesia improve the standard of living and to make and develop economy, and also to increase the partnership between Indonesia and U.S. Did you have any opinion or suggestion about this problem, sir? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Please give her an applause. Our first question. So, Ambassador, of course, Cirebon represent. And
Cirebon,
yes, somewhere you have to go or visit, especially since it's on your to-do list with your wife as well. But aside from that, the work culture that we can learn from the United States, that was the first part of the question.
Every country needs to work this out in a way that fits their society. There's, you might say, a tension between trying to make sure people don't starve to death. So you want to help provide some basic support, particularly for people who are old or sick or caring for children. They can't work outside. How do they survive? But at the same time, you want people to be trying hard. You want people to be working as hard as they can. And if people are too comfortable, they don't work as hard as they can. But if people are only dependent on how hard they work, even if they're hurt or they started off in very difficult circumstances, you know, in one stage, people don't work very well. I'll generalize. In one stage, if too comfortable, people don't see why they need to work. In the other stage, if people have no support, then they never feel insecure, because if anything goes wrong in their life may be gravely damaged, right? So finding a structure that both helps support those who need it, but incentive to work hard and try new ideas. The United States was developed mostly by people who'd come from other countries and weren't able to achieve their goals in their home country. So they decided to move to a faraway country, the United States, and try something new. And so the United States, the idea is mostly about trying something new. And the system of work has been designed to reward people who try something new that helps. Trying something new by itself is not enough. If you try something new, but nobody cares, nobody wants it, nobody wants to buy it, nobody likes it, they say, thank you for something new, but we're not going to pay you for it. But if you come up with an idea that turns into a personal computer or an iPhone or a development in AI or a new app that people really want or a new scientific process that people really want, you can be very, very successful financially or just in people knowing you. So it's a system that's grown up over time, mostly aimed at encouraging people to try something new. That's not always easy, because many people will fail. And that's back to my how to set up a system that allows people to fail without starving to death, but still encourages them to try that something new, even with no guarantees. I would say, based on our experience, is encouraging the private sector, which is where most business activity takes place, where most new ideas come from, making it easier for the private sector to develop and to grow. That's what I'd probably advise, while also having protections for workers so they aren't mistreated by their employers, protections for new ideas, so that if I think up a great new idea, a new type of phone or something, new thing, nobody else can steal it from me and get the benefits of my idea. You have to have laws in place. So having laws that protect ideas, that protect contracts, this is a complicated answer, isn't it? In the end, to summarize, finding a balance between helping those who need the most help, either to find more opportunities. If you're born in a poor village and you have little access to education, you may be have great ideas sitting, working on your farm, but you don't have a chance to express them. You don't have a chance to use them, and humanity misses out. Your country misses out. You on the farm miss out. So finding ways to give people opportunity to learn and to participate and to produce their ideas, to protect their ideas, and to benefit from their ideas. If people don't benefit, they're not as interested in trying. In our experience, most of that benefit, new ideas, growth comes from broad education and then encouragement in a private sector to try new ideas. Hope it wasn't too complicated, but that's summary. It's not an easy thing. Thank you. Good question.
Thank you. And of course, with that nod, hopefully that answers your question as well. But Ambassador, speaking of improving the quality of life, Indonesia also has efforts, and especially in our green transition and sustainable efforts. How is the U.S. helping the government in achieving these efforts? economically, especially?
There's a variety of things. In the United States, again, much change and activity is driven by the private sector. The private sector controls most of the wealth in the United States, most of the business activity in the United States. And currently around the world, efforts looking at sustainable energy, non-fossil fuel energy, sustainable development of various types, ideas such as carbon capture, right, pulling carbon out of the atmosphere. In the United States, the leaders are the large corporations, and they're the ones who are looking to invest in countries around the world, whether in carbon capture or in technologies, geothermal technologies, or the solar and the wind technologies,
Renewable energy.
environmental protection activities. Most of that is led by private sector. The U.S. government has various programs of cooperation, either with countries bilaterally or with the United Nations. Those priorities may get more attention or less attention depending on governments changing. They'll have slightly different priorities. But the companies, if they see a way to benefit, make profit by doing something that the world needs and the world wants, or to make an advance for their company by trying out a new technology, they will do it. And they will do it more quickly even than the government.
All right. Thank you, Ambassador. And now we're going to move on to another question from the audience. Okay, probably if we have one from this side. We will start from this side over here.
Lots of questions.
Absolutely. We can please keep your hands raised for
I have to
our
shorten my
team.
answers.
Now it's time for a girl now. Yes, you in the middle right here. Please, yes, you. Keep your hands raised so we can pass on the microphone to your friends. Can you please help pass on the microphone? Okay, there are two microphones actually. Please do introduce yourself and the question for Ambassador.
So, good afternoon, Mr. Peter and everyone. I'm Wiwit.
Afternoon.
I'm international relations student at President University, batch 2025. So, you mentioned it before about the embassies between the Indonesian and the US, about the three cases about the economic, security, and also the people to people, like the exchange student program, like student in Indonesia study in the US, and the US student study in Indonesia. So, my question is, from your perspective, how can participating in exchange program in the U.S. benefit to Indonesian students not only in academically but also better for the future careers? So I would appreciate your answer. Thank you for your kindly attention. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Please give her an applause.
So I understood that to be how to participate in these programs?
How to participate and
How the
can-
benefit?
Yes, and
the
how can
benefit for the future careers?
how can it benefit the future careers
Of course,
of the
of course,
individuals?
Of course. In terms of how to participate,
Yeah.
please pay attention to the U.S. Embassy website, because our programs tend to be on an annual basis or a few times a year, and each time a new program is approaching and we're looking for applications, we'll put that up and we'll say, here's a date, here's what the application needs to look at like, here's the qualifications, please be on time. So look for those things for when you're putting in your name and describing what you want to do. How it can benefit your career depends, of course, on what your career is and what the program is. In general, my experience in my own life and from those around me is that when you have an international experience, it changes your whole view of the world, of yourself, and your place in it. You get a better sense of common interests, common feelings, common goals of people in different countries. You're more comfortable in dealing with people from different countries. And we live in a much more globalized world than ever before. So if you speak a language that is used in many countries. If you are comfortable dealing with people from different countries, that gives you an advantage in working in international business or in internationally oriented academics or in internationally oriented really anything. So already an advantage if you're interested in doing something that has a touch on international. It also provides you new ideas from another country's perspective, in this case, the United States. If you're going on a program that's focused on something you're interested in, you're going to see what students your age are learning about in that sector. You're going to hear from professors or practitioners working in that area from the United States to broaden your perspective. Broadening is the one word I just put in there, I guess. It's going to open up for you a broader array of opportunities. You will come back with better linguistic skills, with more ideas in your chosen field, and with a greater comfort level working with international persons and institutions.
And not to forget the network that they will also establish.
Oh yeah. You will also, you'll make friends, you'll meet people there that you will keep in touch with in the United States. In many of these programs, the U.S. programs, you will also meet peers, either from within Indonesia or from around the region, and you'll keep contacts with them after that too, as extra, we call them in American English, sounding boards, people to exchange ideas and opinions with. When you get to a certain stage in your career and you want to ask a question, you have people you know are interested in the same activities that you can ask.
There you go. Priceless. So keep posted, right? So you have to keep posted and then check the timeline of the U.S. Embassy regularly. All right, we're going to move on because we have seen a number of hands raised earlier. Okay, we're going to move on to the next question from this side. Higher. Okay, yes. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, so hello everyone.
Hello.
Ambassador Haymond. So my name is Joanna Tera Sumarau and I'm a second-year student of International Relations from President University. And I'm here with my friends from Puma IR and some of my juniors from President University. So I wanted to ask you about considering the dynamics of global politics, especially the competition between major power in the Indo-Pacific, how does the U.S. ensure that its partnership with Indonesia's remains balanced and truly beneficial, particularly for Indonesia's national interest and youth development? So that's all from me, and thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Give her an applause for Joanna. So, Ambassador, regarding the competition of major powers in the Indo-Pacific, how
Sure.
can we ensure that the relations between Indonesia and the U.S. is still balanced and, of course, beneficial for both
Sure.
nations?
Any partnership is only going to be as strong as both partners feel that it's worthwhile and they are benefiting, right? So when the United States works with any other country, certainly including Indonesia, we're looking for overlapping interests. That is, where we have very similar interests to the interests of the country, and we can work together and collaborate, whether it's economically or in security or otherwise. And so part of government discussion at the embassy with the Indonesian government, and when we have visitors in from Washington or around the United States, is to talk about those common interests and what we can collaborate on. It can be dealing with transnational crime. It can be dealing with economic issues or natural disaster issues. It can be dealing with global competition. The biggest single change in the world in geopolitical terms in my lifetime has been the return of China to the world scene. When I was young, China was dealing with a very difficult time, and it was an insignificant factor economically around the world. It was not a major trading partner with anybody except its close partners, its close neighbors. But since then, as more private sector has been unleashed in China, China has returned. It's a fifth of the world's population. It's always been a great country in the world. It's retaken its place on that stage. When you have that fast, that big a shift, this is over 30, almost 40 years now, but still very quickly in world time, that's an adjustment. The countries around China have to adjust because China has changed so fast. And China had not been hugely influential in the world for quite some time before. So they're returning to a new world of a kind. So there's adjustments on China's side as well for a new world, coming back into this world. And then there's other developments. There's ASEAN's rapid growth over the last 40 years. Incredible changes since I first came to Thailand in the 1960s, seeing the changes around ASEAN. There's now, India is now taking a more prominent place in the world stage. I mean, just growth of major countries that in past were struggling, now they've been developing fast and they're succeeding. So the relationships between the United States and the great countries of the Asia Pacific are broad and complicated. We agree on many things. Sometimes we don't agree on everything. The United States has some challenges right now in its relations with China. Other countries in the region have challenges in the relations with China, also opportunities. So to your question, there's a regular dialogue between the United States and Indonesia and with our other partners about common concerns and common interests. Nobody's looking for conflict. Everybody's looking to reduce the possibility of conflict. Everybody works on its own relations with China or with India or with Australia or with Japan or with the United States. What we do as diplomats and as representatives of the U.S. government is find those common interest areas with the Indonesian government in which we can work together. And we can help each other to achieve security and economic development goals. So it's not one thing, it's a continued exchange, continued discussion, and continued programs of cooperation together. Thank you for the question. It's a big question.
Thank you. And now we will move on to our next question. Okay, keep your hands raised, but before we move on to the ones offline, we'd like to also greet the participants online. Ambassador.
Hello again to those who are beaming in. And I am honored today to have the opportunity to interact with all the students here from President University, but extremely pleased also that we have those joining us from elsewhere. And this is part of that technology I mentioned.
Yes.
20, 30 years ago, you couldn't do this. You had to have a major TV studio to do this.
Absolutely.
Now, anybody can talk from around the world and join us in our conversation.
Yes.
So welcome.
Yes, and they can directly ask questions. Absolutely. And they are joining us from various areas or various cities in Indonesia. Ambassador, for example, they're from Jepara in Central Java, and there's one from Magelang in Java as well, and also from Batam. So we'd like to propose this question from Dafa, and Dafa is from Batam. My name is Dafa from Batam. Hello there, Dafa. That's the camera over there. Mr. Haymond, what inspired you to pursue a career in diplomacy, and what advice would you give to students interested in this path?
Sure.
From Dafa in Batam.
Sure. When I was 7 years old, my family moved to Thailand for 2 years, and I lived there and had a fabulous experience. When I was 19 years old, I volunteered to go anywhere in the world to teach both Christianity, as I had been brought up, to explain for people who might be interested, and to teach English as well. And I was sent to Thailand. And I had a fabulous experience. And I learned Thai. And I had that broadening experience, understanding a country very different from the United States, but the similarities as well. And that made me interested in an international career. And when I looked at different types of careers, I put my name in different applications. I looked at business. I looked at smaller organizations. I also looked at the U.S. government. And the U.S. government offered me an opportunity as a diplomat to live in different countries for a few years each time, to practice new languages, to learn new cultures, to build bonds between the United States and those other countries. And I thought that was a great way to spend my life. It can be challenging. You're a long way from home. You're a long way from your family, your relatives. You're a long way from your familiar surroundings. But if you are interested in the idea of seeing new things, experiencing new things, that's what I gained from the international experience. And from being a diplomat, I get the satisfaction of knowing that I am working to build relationships, to build bridges and bonds between peoples who live thousands of miles away, but hopefully through my efforts understand each other a little bit more, trust each other a little bit more, while I'm having fun learning too. So that combination of believing I'm doing something worthwhile while also experiencing so many different things in different countries, that's what's made this rewarding for me. And I'd say for international relations persons, learn languages that you can use in many places. English, of course, is excellent. Chinese is increasing in importance. French and Spanish will still help you in lots of countries, okay? And once you learn a language or live in one country abroad, it's even easier to get an opportunity for another one because you have an experience. And you can tell a company, I have this experience. Or you can tell a government ministry, I have this experience. And you'll be a better candidate for those jobs. So look for what opportunities there are. Grab the first one that interests you. And then even if you don't like that exact one and want to do something different, you can use that to elevate your attractiveness as an employee because you're building your resume. And I hope all of you are able to find some way to use your international relations experience to find interesting experiences for yourself while also representing the Indonesian government or the Indonesian people or your company, whatever else. Doing good while having an interesting life. That was my goal.
Yes, because at the end of the day, when we're going abroad or with the technology, we are representing our country in any way possible. All right, thank you, Ambassador, for the advice. Hopefully everyone can pick on from that advice, especially most of the students here are international relations students, right, Ambassador? And hopefully Dafa as well, joining us from Batam. All right, Ambassador.
Thank you, Dava.
Thank you, Dafa. Please give a round of applause for Dafa. And next, I think we have another participant up high. Yes, there you go, with the microphone right above you. Please stand up, introduce yourself, and propose your question to the ambassador.
All right, so good afternoon, Mr. Ambassador. My name is Haikal Pertubianto. I'm an international relations student in President University, batch 2024, second year. Now, for my question for you is, from your personal experience, what is a misconception about Indonesia that you'd like to correct for an American audience and vice versa? That'll be all. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Give a round of applause once again. A misconception about Indonesia in the U.S. and vice versa.
And vice versa. I'll have to think about this one a little bit.
Or probably from your personal experience from 30 years ago,
Sure,
before
exactly.
visiting Indonesia.
First, I guess the basic misconception is a very fundamental misconception is that especially in a large country like the United States or like Indonesia, you can have many different experiences, you can live in many different places and never leave your country, right? You can do that in the United States, you can do that in Indonesia. In small countries, you need to understand the countries around you. In many places in Europe or other parts of the area, Africa or something, you need to understand those countries around you because they affect you so much. In a big country, less so. The misconception, I think, would be a feeling that goes back to what I guess I was saying earlier. If you grow up in one country and know just that country, there can be a feeling that persons elsewhere are fundamentally different. They're a different religion, or they're a different, because they're different language, they're a different history. And so they're not like us. And human beings over time have been comfortable with the group they know and been more suspicious of the group they don't know. My experience around the world is that the languages can be different, the religions can be different, the history can be different, but fundamentally, people are interested in the same things. They're interested in family relationships. They're interested in work that makes them feel proud, but also helps them build a comfortable life. They're interested in being proud of their country or of their group, their city, their province. That fundamentally, people are the same. And even despite their differences, they can communicate well when they have the chance. Because we have a big world, countries are far apart. Sometimes you miss that. It's a little better now because technology, right? My wife and I are watching the latest K-drama on Netflix right now. Okay, I'm learning about a different part of Choson history that I never knew about before. I'm also learning about how to do French cuisine in Choson history. I didn't know that much about how to do French cuisine. That's because of technology. So it's easier to see the rest of the world now than it was. But still, getting past that idea that Indonesians are like this and Americans are like that. It's not to say they're exactly the same. Cultural experience, history does have influence, but fundamentally, at the bottom, they're interested in the same things. And that's why so many people are watching K-drama all around the world, or watching Hollywood all around the world, or listening to BTS all around the world, right? There's fundamentally similar feelings. But part of being a diplomat is to convince people that it's better to talk through differences of opinion rather than assuming the worst about the other side because they're the other side. And the only way to get through to the other side is to fight with them or to push them because they're different. The idea of diplomacy is we can communicate. So might not have been exactly what you're looking for, but the common misconception, that's what I have.
Okay, and we can achieve that.
Thank
you.
you for
Please give a
that.
round of applause once again. And we can eliminate that misconception through understanding and, of course, communication. Yes, I think we have one more question regarding the time available this side. Yes, please. Do you have a microphone right above you? Please introduce yourself and once again propose your question to the ambassador.
Okay, so the first, maybe I would like to say thank you very much for the occasion that has been given for me. It's a honor and valuable experience for me, can stand here with amazing people. Secondly, maybe I would like to introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Fatih Ramadan Rushidin. I'm the delegation from President University with all of my friends here majoring in international relations, batch 2025, who have interested in diplomacy. So all I want to ask is, it's all about a personal question, which is your experience. So the question is, from your experience as a diplomat, what is the most valuable lesson that you can give or share with us as a person, especially a young Indonesian people who aspire to pursue career in diplomacy?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Give a round of applause. The most personal and valuable experience, Ambassador.
Personal and valuable experience. Well, the overall, I'm thinking if there's a specific experience, there's been lots of different experiences. of
Especially for
different
those
types.
who are ambitious and aspire to be a diplomat just like you in the future.
Right. Well, first of all, I mentioned why I became a diplomat. I wanted the international experience, and I liked the idea of representing my country. First would say that when you, let's see, in terms of getting that experience, there are different avenues. You can be a diplomat for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or you can be working for another ministry that has international partnerships, or you can be working in a business that has international partnerships and get this international experience. Okay? You can work with international organizations that take people, might employ you here or might employ you somewhere else around the world. There are many avenues to getting international experience, all of which can give you that broadening feel, that chance to see and learn things from many different countries. And for an Indonesian specifically, even me, I knew I wanted the international experience. I didn't know how it would come. Whether I would be just working in an international business. It helped one thing, maybe one thing helped me. I don't know if I want to advise it's exactly right for all my colleagues here. I married a diplomat.
So how did that work out?
And the diplomat I married was not from the United States. So I made an international family, basically, right? So I don't know that this is going to be appropriate for everybody here, but that has helped keep me in international focus, certainly, because that, frankly, that is one challenge for an international experience, a diplomatic experience, or working abroad, is that if you want to work in international circles and you also want a happy family, that means your spouse had better want that international experience too. Because if your spouse does not, something's going to happen that's not going to be pleasant, probably. You will not keep that spouse, or you will not keep that international experience. You'll have to make a choice. So ideally, if you're looking for that experience, I can say it's excellent to have a partner who says, let's go. Let's go see new places. Let's go try new things. But that's not everybody. Some people are happier. They want to stay in one place. They want their children to grow up in one place. That's perfectly acceptable. It's just difficult to do both at the same time. So I'd say look at opportunities. If you're interested in that international experience, you look at your own government, you look at UN, international organizations, you look at business, and you look at a personal situation that's going to, just keep that in mind. You don't choose a partner just because they want to go abroad or not, but keep it in mind. If you have a family life partner, you're going to want to do things together, and it's only going to work if both of you are happy. So just keep that in mind if you're looking for that international experience. But all of those things, be flexible, be open. Don't say, I can only go this route and be happy, and no other routes will make me happy. There's lots of routes in the world. If you confine yourself to one, there's a good chance you'll be disappointed. But if you say, here are all the routes I'm looking for that could get me the type of experience, the personal fulfillment, the interesting life that I want, much greater chance at success. And then learn your languages, build your resume, and go and have a great, successful life. Thank you.
Please give a round of applause. And hopefully everyone here is ready, and of course they're flexible and open to new experiences, especially by being here today. And due to the time limit, although there were so many hands raised, Ambassador, that was the last question that can be proposed during the session. But before we end, we want to know the magic of threes. So we want to hear from your perspective 3 words about Indonesia and U.S. relations. Jeez. Just 3, Ambassador. Jeez. The top of your mind, right?
3. Strong, growing future.
Strong, growing future. There you go. Indonesia-U.S. relations. We hope to foster and, of course, strengthen our relations, Ambassador, and hope we can do that together through collaboration and cooperation. Once again, give a round of applause for Ambassador Haymond.
And if I can say, Sara, first, please thank you to you for so graciously moderating. Sara Wayne, everyone. And thank you to all the students here with us and online. I appreciated how many hands were going up. I appreciated the thought that went into your questions. I hope my answers at least sparked some thought and will be helpful for you going forward. I wish you only the best in your own lives, in representing Indonesia, okay? Whether it's as a government person, as a business person, as a teacher, as an academic, as a parent. I wish you success and fulfillment in your lives. And I wish you to know that your American brothers and sisters, whether they know it or not, are fundamentally looking for the same thing. And we'll look forward to partnering with you in future. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Ambassador. And thank you, everyone here. A round of applause for everyone in attendance, offline, also online. Thank you. And now we'd like to also pass on once again the microphone. And of course, we'd like to give a round of applause for Aldi, our e-guy. Thank you.
Thank you, Sara. And thank you to our eminent speaker, Ambassador Peter M. Haymond. For more information about America events, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube at AT America. And ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end of our event for today. My name is Aldi Rashid with the entire Ad America team, saying thank you and see you guys at the next Ad America event. Bye, everyone. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and now we are going to take a picture with Ambassador Haymond from both sides of the audience, on the left and the right.